Okay, good morning and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to port a voucher to out of state. For those of you that don't know, if you live in one city and you're on Section 8 or you have a Housing Choice Voucher, you can take that voucher after about 12 months and you can transfer it to another state, I've had some interesting clients, some said, as long as I'm going to be low income, might as well live on a tropical island, maybe Hawaii, the Virgin Islands. I've successfully helped a few clients already with that. So, the topic itself is pretty mundane. So there's not a lot to it. And there is some information that you're going to want to read. And I have already made a web page specific to that. Okay, so I have a website and I've definitely made a web page, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. And I'm going to encourage you to read all of that information. Of course, the 4 links below. Now, how do you find my webpage? It's simple. In the comment section, the number 1 comment I usually pin, which is me. And in there, if you scroll far enough into the comment, you'll see that there is a web address along with a lot of other useful links, okay? So with that being said, let's get started. Let's see here. Okay, so when you normally land on my web page, and you can see also up here, there is the web address. When you land on here, you'll see there's a lot of opening information and then links to all kinds of manuals. Well, there's going to be HUD, COC, so it's an interesting site to say the least. There's over 90 pages hidden within this website, okay? And it's plain, it's ordinary, no advertisements, okay? So as you scroll down, you'll get to the information section here, and you will see how to port your voucher here. Okay, so you'll give that a click, and I'll also just go ahead and include that link in the comment section. That way you don't have to waste time at the main page. Okay. All right, so now we're here. How to port a Section 8 voucher, obviously to another state. So I'm going to give you a rundown, okay, because I understand that people know how to read, and I get that, okay? So I'm just going to kind of give you some of the details that would be important to you for you to hear, at least by this video. First of all, when you get a Housing Choice Voucher, you need to remain wherever you are for 12 months, okay? That's just the reality. And then after 12 months, you need to first contact the housing authority you're currently dealing with and tell them what your intentions are, okay? It doesn't mean it's setting a ball in motion. It just means that you're notifying them that you're considering doing that, okay? Now, the second thing that would obviously need to happen is the state, county, the state, city, or county that you're intending on moving to, including tropical islands, you would need to contact them, okay? So, another thing that we need to consider is the amount the voucher is for. I mean, if you live in LA County, the rent's very expensive, okay? And so if you were to move somewhere else where, that voucher would be worth a whole lot more, a whole lot less, then it wouldn't be a problem. However, if you lived somewhere in a cornfield in Ohio, and you had a voucher there, and you tried to move to, say, New York, then there would be a big difference in the value of the voucher. That's why it's important to see, to contact the other housing authority to figure out whether or not they would be able to increase the value. Because what's happening here, and let me just show you, the process is called billing and absorbing, okay? So with the billing and absorbing process, the new housing authority is going to have to look at your income and see. So, when you move to a different town, there are going to be different rules for that housing authority. And they're going to look at, the medium area income all over again and whether or not you would meet that requirement, okay? Now, typically, when you move to a different city, some housing authorities absolutely require you to have lived there 12 months prior to even being able to port your voucher, which makes the situation almost seem impossible. Look, in this situation, you can buy a real postal address online, okay? So that's the first thing you'd want to do. Buy a postal address to whatever city it is you're intending on going to, and then what you do there is you go and log into your online banking, and then you just do a quick little trick. You change your address to that new address for that new city that you're going to be using, and just for a day, and then you can order a bank report or whatever. So then you'll have an official letter from the bank showing that you are physically somehow addressed for the new city, okay? So that gives you a proof of residency, more or less, okay? Once you do that, then you obviously can go to USPS, and then you can have your mail forwarded back to where you actually live currently, And so you're preparing yourself. Now, the second step to proving residency, the easiest way would be to go down there. You're going to have to go down there, and then you're going to have to go to the DMV, and then you show up with your birth certificate and your proof of residency, which is going to be your bank statement or whatever it may be. And another thing you can also do to give a lot more legitimacy to this, you can just pretend like you lost your Social Security card. Go ahead and apply for a new one and just have it mailed to the new address that you purchased online, okay? And then have it not ported, but have it sent back to you with UPS, okay? So they would go ahead and forward your mail back to you. So now you've got a federal government vouching for you, and of course you have a bank. So the only remaining thing you would need to do when you arrive in the city would be go to the Department of Motor Vehicles, and you don't need to give up your current driver's license in your current city. You just pretend like you don't have an ID, and then you apply for, another ID. There's no law against you having multiple IDs. At one point in my life, I was homeless, and I traveled many states, and I think I had up to 11 IDs, okay? You can't have 11 driver's licenses, but you can have as many IDs. In fact, you could have all 50 states if you wanted to collect them. Now, with that being said, so, the new housing authority, whether it's going to be in a more expensive or less expensive area, is going to depend on, what you're going to be making. And, another key factor you remember is you're going to need to find a job or have a job ready to go over there, okay? Because this whole thing hinges on the fact that you're employed. So you'll need to figure out how to deal with that situation. So if you can do all those things, then they can bill and absorb, which means the current housing authority you're at will go ahead and agree to let the other housing authority purchase it, and you will be converted to the new city, and then your ties to the current housing authority will be severed completely, okay? Look, you really, I got some interesting people think they're going to just travel the country, housing authority to housing authority. I would not recommend doing that. This is HUD, is the federal government. I mean, they can obviously see that you're just trying to vacation 12 months in every state, if you're just trying to be interesting. So I wouldn't advise doing that, okay? Now, I'd like to read you a few little pieces of information from the website, my website. And now, there are situations where housing authorities may not approve it at all, okay? Maybe they don't want to bill and absorb, okay? And sometimes that is the case. Number two, the criteria you met in your own city, you may not meet in the new one, and they simply may not have any availability in that city. So it's critical that you do all your head work before you actually go through with this process. And if you're in fact trying to move to places like Hawaii or Virgin Islands, then you would need a considerable amount of money to fly there. And so you've got a lot up in the air and in the mix, okay? But it's certainly very possible, okay? Another thing I want to tell you guys before I close this out is that, I would really, really recommend hiring somebody like myself that understands this, because if you don't understand the letters that you need to submit and some of the technicalities of what goes on with this, then you're just winging it, okay? And I have nothing against people that want to wing it and think they know how to do it, but the reality is you only get one shot, and like a lot of things that have to do with HUD, if you're not able to do this the correct way the first time, then you'll find that a lot of doors will just start closing, okay? And so, consulting is really critical with a lot of this stuff to ensure a successful run, or you can experiment, and then who the hell knows what's going to happen, for you, okay? So it's really up to you. Well, look, folks, I hope you've enjoyed our porting, and like I said, my intent was never to be the 30-minute video going in high detail. I mean, all the information is provided on the website, and I'm going to scroll down and just go ahead and show you the links real quick. So as you read through this, here are 4 important links. You need to read those, especially for you DIY, do-it-yourself people. You're going to have to read all these policies and procedures, okay? And you need to make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into, okay? Well, look, it's been a pleasure having you all on the channel, and you're welcome to check out more than 100 other videos I have regarding HUD and the continuum of care and getting housing. I'm definitely an expert in the area. A lot of people use me as a consultant, so that's something to think about when you have time. All right, thank you. Bye.